has managed to get 2 bites out of the 2020 Formula One launch. Mercedes has managed to get 2 bites out of the 2020 Formula One launch season. First unveiling the addition of the Ineos-instigated burgundy to the overall livery, the team has then peeled off the covers off its new W11 ahead of pre-season testing. For the most part, the W11 looks nothing more than an evolution. Technical Chief James Allison has mentioned that the team won't persist with the strategy of bringing an entirely new car to the second week of testing, but there will be an upgrade package to help the team prepare for Melbourne. Probably the clearest difference over last season's model is at the sidepod inlets. Mercedes becomes the final team to transition to the letterbox inlet and has moved the side impact structure lower down to accommodate the new design. With that lowered, the inlet fits in above that and gives the engineers a greater sidepod undercut to play with. Around the sidepod, the turning vanes look largely similar to those used at the end of 2019, although the main part now fully loops around the sidepod inlet rather than being broken up into 2 parts. The shape of the sidepods and the engine cover look distinctly similar to last year's. The rear end also appears to be tighter, and so the overall airflow from the sidepods to the rear should be even tidier. There's also some changes to the barge boards too, and while the smaller elements appear to be retained from the end of year W10, the upper edge of the main barge board panel has been broken up even further, aiming to assist the transition of flow to the lower part of the sidepods. The double boomerang design also remains. Apart from those changes, the launch variant of the W11 features mostly late-season aero from the W10. The front wing was a particular area in which Mercedes focused a lot of its attention last season, and by the end of 2019 had gravitated from a deep pan design to something more rooted in the philosophy developed by the likes of Ferrari. Although Mercedes' front wing was never as extreme, it still sacrificed a little bit of downforce on the outboard section and relied more on loading up the inboard part. The small split is still in the penultimate wing element, owing to a shorter span final flap, but it remains to be seen if Mercedes spends testing trialling any evolutions of that layout. Retaining the cape section of the nose, Mercedes has had to watch a number of teams develop their own version over the off-season. Of course, with 3 seasons extra experience of running the device on their own cars, Mercedes will be completely au fait with the change in airflow structure that the cape provides, while others still may have to spend some time getting it to work. At the rear, Mercedes has also shown the W11 with a single-element T-wing, with downturned tips to better place the tip vortices generated. One thing that can't be seen from the renders is whether Mercedes has retained the rear suspension duct that was spotted on the car last season. An area of consternation with other teams, it's believed that Ferrari asked about the legality of the device, which offers more control over rear tyre temperatures, with a view to developing its own version. As mentioned, by the time the Barcelona tests roll around, Mercedes will bolt on a number of brand new parts with the aim of making the step it requires to retain its advantage. The team didn't show its true hand until the final day of testing last year, and emerged for the season opener in Melbourne with a hefty advantage over pre-season favourites Ferrari. And while the W11 isn't visually different, Technical Chief James Allison explained that the team had to make a few architectural changes to the package to ensure that the development curve could continue. That also included improving the powertrain operating window, which struggled with high temperatures, particularly in Austria, which surprised the team last year with its sweltering heat. The team at Mercedes high-performance powertrains in Brixworth might have to box clever with a new powertrain, and although it's still one of the best packages on the grid, Mercedes lost some straight-line speed to Ferrari's rather rapid power plant. However, the reliability is almost bulletproof, and so wholesale changes could be unnecessary at this stage. There's absolutely no reason why Lewis Hamilton cannot win his 7th title this year, and with the new car development of the old, Mercedes will not suddenly make a bad car overnight. If anything, it's down to the competition to not only match Mercedes for performance gains, but also surpass them. Given the Silver Arrow's propensity to relentlessly make little additions throughout the season and ends the year with a very healthy advantage, it would be surprising if 2020 was any different.